sadly, it is a cold morning again, and that really takes the wind out of my sails every single time that happens. Every time it is gloomy, and the thing is, it's gloomy, but the sun is not really getting through the clouds. It's just right behind there, and so the car is a little bit chilly. It's not as bad as that one time when I did the live stream, and it was so cold I was shivering, and I had to turn on the heater. That was terrible. That was terrible. I was worried about frostbite there. Anyway, guys. So today I don't have the energetic power that I usually do, but we'll try to make do with it. And hopefully, if the sun wants to be nice to me, it'll come out and it will help us out. I've got my two favorite books right now. I've got this one and the technology one. All cool stuff. We'll try to stay focused, but like when the weather's like this, you don't see as many people just walking by. Even the squirrels are kind of staying away from the cold, and they're just hiding somewhere. Good job, squirrels. That's the right thing to do. I don't even hear any crows or birds. When it gets cold, it becomes a little bit ghosty. Around here. Anyway, cool stuff. A while back, I talked about this cool thing. Is it called origami? Let's see. Show you guys origami. They even have an Instagram. I don't know if you guys have seen the Instagram. I have not seen the Instagram. I do not do a whole lot on Instagram. I used to really like power through Instagram. I was like, Instagram. I actually use Facebook more than Instagram because I follow some of my favorite RC stuff, like the Motion RC. Sometimes, what's the other one that I look at? Horizon Hobby. Some of those, I take a look at that stuff there. Captain Drone. I used to be part of the 3D printing community a while back when I still cared about that. Well, I still care about it. It's just, it didn't do a whole lot. For the channel. So anyway, so they have this cool thing here called the origami, and it's all about the aura and stuff. So on the inside, there's also an email you guys can contact to learn more about origami, but it's very exclusive. They had it, not at South Coast Repertory, the one that's next to that one. Can't remember what it is now. They have the Nutcracker and a bunch of cool things going on there. They didn't have Hamlet, not Hamlet. The other one. Anyway, so they have all these cool charts here. They have a machine. You jump into the machine, and it tells you your aura. We didn't get to do it. We got to be in line to get to do it, and then we found out that it's very exclusive. There's only I can't remember if it's 50 or 60 people that can do it at any particular seating. So so just watch out for that. If you want to really do this, email them, get a I don't know if there's a way to get in early or whatever, or make a reservation, but that's probably what you want to do. Anyway, so they tell you what kinds of auras are available. They don't have my aura on here. It's dark, devious, conniving, somewhere between gray and, I would say black, but that's the absence of light, so you can't really use that one. But as gray as it gets, and misty. Anyway, so the colors they do describe here are red, and red describes courage, passion, desire, will, driven, power, vitality, strength, and leadership. If your aura tends to be orange, that is creativity, warmth, inspiring, confident, sociable, perceptive, uplifting, relatable, and thoughtful. If you are blue, you have devotion, trusting, empathetic, loyal, expansive, sensitive, intuitive, peaceful, and calm. If you get the pink, you get love, sincerity, friendship, compassion, giving, romantic, generous, generous, healthy, faithful. If you get yellow, you get joyful, bright, cheerful, voluminous, enthusiastic, optimist, intellectual, open-minded, fun. If you get the turquoise or turquoise, you get communicative, multitasker, truthful, serene, assertive, organized, influential, inclusive, and energized. If you get magenta, you get the individualist, free-spirited. I just can't help it. You know, this thing is, with some of us, we've had this peripheral vision. We've got this peripheral vision. And whether it is a pretty lady walking her dog or a nice couple and you're like, oh, they're so cute, or a squirrel or a crow or something, it just gets, you know, I just have to see it, and it distracts me. So anyway, let's get, I'm gonna read that again. So magenta is for individualist, free-spirited, stimulation, fun-loving, artistic, big heart, unorthodox, very creative, nonconformist. Then you got violet, magical, original, playful, eccentric, charming, liberal, sensible, charismatic, and delightful. If you are green, you have patience, firmness, perseverance, assertiveness, nurturing, attentive, responsible, dedication, and gentle. Awesome. So you can visit auragami.la. So that is auragami.la to learn more about this cool thing that I talked about right now. And they did omit gray, which is conniving, bewitched, horrible human being. They didn't put that one in, but that's probably what my aura would look like. So we'll have to test it out someday, and I'll let you know. I'll let you know how bad it is. Probably like devious. Man. Anyway, what is the aura photography? So what is this all about? So it says we all have an electromagnetic energy field that radiates in and around our bodies. This energy field, also known as the aura, appears as ethereal color and pattern radiances surrounding the body, each color signifying a vibration with its own distinct meaning. The aura is connected with the activity of the chakras, energy centers, which in turn provides an image of our energy field. Again, a lot of this people say this is mumbo jumbo, but it is scientifically proven, and now there's a machine that can show you that. So yeah, unless that's Hollywood Disney magic, it's probably real. Aura cameras use hand sensors which have contact points connecting with various organs of the body, correlating to acupuncture points to receive biodata feedback measurements. Using a computer chip that gathers those biofeedback measurements, the camera codes the energy readings into frequencies that correspond with certain colors and translates them onto a Polaroid photograph to give you a visual representation of your energy. So aura photography, origami.la, that's their handle with the @ in front of it. It says learn more at origami.la, follow us on origami.la, connect origami.la, and so on and so forth. It even has a hashtag. So if you guys do cool stuff and you want to post your hashtags on that, you can hashtag origami. There you go. So that was origami. Again, they have all the beautiful colors. They left me out. There's no gray conniving aura for the very weird. It's kind of funny. Sometimes I'll walk around and I'll hear things that I'm not supposed to. And one of those things that I hear is weirdo. Anyway. It's been an awesome weekend. And I want to give A great shout out to Sender One. Sender One, as you can see here, this is the certification for ballet. No, it didn't get special dancing shoes. I don't have points, and I did not dance. Well, I did kind of dance. I did what somebody commented. I think what did they say? Rookie party tricks. Rookie party tricks. That was hilarious. Anyway, I don't know how to climb properly. So I want to put that out there. I want to put that out there because I want to be truthful about all this stuff. I love bouldering and I love climbing, but I'm not a professional climber in any way, form, or whatever. Which is why I took my thing. And again, some people will say, "Well, no, that's fake, man. Just like all your other certificates, that's fake. You just went out there." And you either stole it, because I get comments like that. You stole it, or you went onto one of those websites and you printed out your certification. You didn't really get it. But no, I put in the work and I put in the hours and I got my certification. And the instructors there are fantastic because, as I like to explain to people don't believe me until they watch me during a class. And I don't disrupt the class. I ask all the appropriate questions. I do everything that I'm supposed to. I try to get hyper focused on what I'm supposed to do. And then I finish my class, and I'm the only one who can't tie a knot. It is just like, it's so humbling. The experience is so humbling. But luckily, I had a really, really nice guy also on my team, because when you try to get your ballet certification, you need to be the ballet for one person, and then you need to climb the wall, and the other person will do the ballet for you. And I had a big shout out to my partner there. He was so understanding and calm through my fumbling around with trying to get that rope into the thing. Because the thing is, you need to tie 3 different knots, right? So you've got the first one, which is what they call the 8 loop or the infinity knot. And then once you have that's on one side of the rope, you have to build a nice amount of slack so that then you can feed this thing through the harness. There's a thing that you attach to your to the bottom of your body where your hips are, and it wraps around your legs, so it connects to underneath your legs, just below your thighs, and then just above the hip bone, and it connects up to this. There's this little loop thing on the front, and it has 3 loops actually, 2 that go upwards this way and 1 that goes around this way. So it's hard to explain how that goes, but imagine. See if I have my other thing. Okay, so imagine. Here's the thing. So imagine you've got 2. This is not perfect because the balls are not in the right spots, but imagine that you've got, let's say, 1 and 1, 2 going up that way, and then the other one, like this. Actually, this is perfect, kind of. So you have one goes like this, and then the other one is this way. So you feed the rope through 1 and 2, and then the other one has the other side going that way, and then you can feed your metallic clip onto that thing there. And I don't know exactly the terminology for that, but I did study it. Unfortunately, I'll probably have to say the word many different times until I get it, but it's a ballet clip or something. Anyway, I did put on the main wall of this YouTube channel a couple of posts and a couple of links to where you can learn all the stuff that you want to learn if you want to get your ballet certification done. And one of that is the Sender 1 or Sender City is for the kids. Not YouTube channel. I think it's the main website where you can sign up and you can take classes and stuff. And then another one is I can't see it now because right now I don't have access to the internet on a secondary phone. I only have it on one because I'm doing the live stream, so I can't show you. But you can go to the wall; it's up there. if you care to see that. But anyway, it's really cool stuff. Really fun. Once you get your certification, now I can be the ballet for my daughter, Disney Gym Girl, and then she got to go and climb on those crazy walls all the way up. I would say maybe 10 meters or 15 or 16 feet. It's just crazy that you can climb all the way up there. So they have amazing equipment and stuff, and it's really fun hanging out over there. So anyway, we spent most of our weekend there, and it's just fun to do. Anyway, so yeah, that's just wanted to promote it on the channel because I do stuff like that. I'm just that conniving. All right, let's do one quick read through here. It's getting really cold in the car. And I may have to put the heater on. That sun just won't help me out here. So I'm starting to feel the burn or the cold. It's not really burn if it's cold, but it still burns a little bit. Okay, so in the previous episode of Where's the Douche, we talked about, what was it? How to build a blah, 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 a door alarm. And in the previous one before then, I humiliated myself and did the electromagnetic crane. And then I said some really stupid things at the end of that video. If you want to go check that out, that's also here on the YouTube channel. So you can go check that out. But today, what we are going to build is something amazing. And since we talked about infinity loops and we talked about, what was the other thing that I just said? The 8 or whatever, the figure 8 for roping. We will now try to create the infinity mirror, which ties into that beautifully. See, infinity. You see what I did there? I don't know. How can you make a normal mirror look like it stretches on forever? All you need to achieve this illusion is a strip of LED. No, a strip of LED lights, some mirrored film, a picture frame, and a mirror. The lights from the LED strip are reflected again and again inside the frame, creating images that appear to fade far into the distance. Each reflection of the LED strip is dimmer and smaller than the last one, which gives the effect of great depth. Now, this is really cool, and I remember that Caroline Dunn, if you guys don't know who Caroline Dunn is, what's the matter with you? Are you really a technologist if you don't know who Caroline Dunn is? She does amazing stuff on her own YouTube channel, talks about all kinds of amazing stuff. So you should go check her out and subscribe to that channel because she's done something with Amazon, Alexa, and I think Raspberry Pi, or I can't remember, something else, where she creates a really cool infinity mirror. I think there is some coding that goes into that project. So if you haven't made your own infinity mirror using that kind of technology, you should go check that out. Anyway, so that was my little thing about talking about Caroline Dunn, which provides a lot of really good information on her YouTube channel. Anyway, so how to make an infinity mirror. So for this project, you will need a deep box frame with a removable inner frame. Any size frame will work, but the mirror must fit perfectly into the outer frame. Either match the frame size to the mirror's size or get the mirror cut by a professional to make the frame. Finally, be careful handling the mirror and glass as they can cut you. Yeah, I don't know how expensive and how much, if you're going to be doing this in class for your students, I don't know if you have the budget. I mean, if you're Elon Musk, you have the budget to have a professional cut the glass for you and stuff. But most likely you'll just go purchase a kid-friendly mirror with smooth edges and stuff so that you don't cut your people in class. And then you will create or find a box that will fit that, because that's usually cheaper. This is supposed to be a pretty fast thing to do. They say 20 minutes. I'm going to say double that every time that you try to do anything in a classroom because, you know, kids are kids. And even when they are super intelligent, in fact, most of the time, when they are super intelligent, they'll just finish the task, or they'll get bored and they'll start talking to the rest of their peers. And that's usually the people think that it's the slow people like me that are the ones that cause issues during class. Actually, most of the time the slow people are the one that are like super hyper focused, just like me in class. And then they end the class and they're the only one who can't tie a knot for their belay. You know, as if you can't tie the knot for your climber, well, you could expect your climber to know how to tie their own knots, but still, if you're doing that for your child, then you have to be the one who knows how to do their knot. Otherwise, they will plummet from the top as the knot is not secure, right? So, you know, if you love your children, or you love the people that you want to belay, you probably want to know how to do your knots. If you don't, then, you know, it's a toss of a coin whether they come down safely or not. Anyway, what you need to make this exercise, and remember that the difficulty level is pretty easy, they say, although handle with care, because you are using mirrors, so they shatter and they can become very sharp objects. It says, beware, requires utility knife, drill, and household power use. So there's a few things they have to worry about. So this is not exactly something that you just want to hand over to your 2-year-old and say, hey, buddy, just go and make it. This requires an adult supervision. So what you need from the toolbox: utility knife, cutting mat, ruler. I'm always going to bring back that amazing and funny guy, Crazy Russian Dad. If you haven't seen his website and YouTube channel, go check him out. So get a ruler. You're going to have a drill. You need something that's 5/16 of an inch or 8 millimeters drill bit. You're going to need scissors. You're going to need one plastic card. You're going to need one way reflective mirror film. You're going to need clean kitchen cloth. You're going to need one mirror, which could be 9 by 9 by 2 inches, or 23 times 23 times 5 centimeters. I don't know. I think you probably can get away with whatever you find at your local, I don't know, Michael's, Target, so on and so forth, Walmart. You'll probably find a mirror somewhere there, and then you can just bring that and create a box for that. Remove the glass or plastic window from the frame. So before actually showing that, I'm going to show you the items that you may need. And it also requires a cuttable LED strip with mains plug and soapy water in a bottle sprayer. I guess that's probably for cleaning the mirror. You probably don't want to have a bunch of fingerprints everywhere. So that's my guess there. That's my guess there. Oh, got distracted again. What is it? What is it with things that happened? Anyway, remove the glass or plastic window from the frame. Use it as a template to cut the way mirror film so that it's slightly wider than the window on all sides. If the window has protective covering, peel it off. But I love keeping my protective... so funny. People make fun of me all the time because most of my equipment, like be it a camera, phone, or a camera itself, or whatever device, they usually come with protective film on top of the stuff. And what I like to do is keep it on there until it comes off by itself, if it ever does. I've got stuff that's still got the protective film, and I've had it for years. Anyway. And I've also not removed a bunch of this stuff from my DJI Mini. So it still looks rather new, even though it's not. I've had it for years now. So with that said, let's continue on. So it says, lay the window on a flat surface and spray it with a little soapy water. The water will help the one-way mirror film to stick to the window. Use both hands to ensure the mirror film doesn't stick to itself. Yeah, because that'd be bad. Carefully peel off the mirror film backing. Place the adhesive side of the mirror film onto the window. Working out from the center, use the plastic card to smooth out any bubbles to create a flat surface. Okay, that's the next page. So I'm going to show you what this page is right here so you guys can see what's going on real quick. There you go. Part 2 and part 3. And that's in case you want to stop the video and double check that I read everything correctly, and if you missed any steps. Dry the window with a towel, then trim off the excess mirror film with a utility knife. Again, guys, be careful with utility knives. I've seen a lot of people bring the blade further out too much, and what that does sometimes, it is when you apply pressure to the blade, and you shouldn't be applying that much pressure to the blade anyway. You want the tool to work for you and do all the work, and but sometimes I've seen people push hard on that blade and the blade will snap, and the broken shard of the blade will then start going around, and it could snap and fly into any direction. And what you want to avoid, obviously, is it snapping and it going into your skin or your eyes. So yeah, watch out for that. If you can't trust yourself to apply the right amount of pressure with your utility knife, I would recommend you wear goggles, safety goggles. I would recommend that anyway. But yeah, be careful. Be careful when doing stuff with technology that can snap. So use a metal ruler. You use a metal ruler to protect your fingers when cutting also. And yeah, try to keep your fingers on the left side of the ruler if you're going to be cutting with your right hand across there. And if you are left-handed, keep your hands on the right side of the ruler and then cut with your left, and use that ruler as a nice separation device between the blade and your skin, or so they tell me. Anyway, inner frame. So drill a hole through the outer and inner frames. Make it wide enough to accommodate the cord of LED strip. You may need to drill 2 holes side by side to allow for this. And also remember that the LED strips might have a slightly larger entry point for the connector that connects to whatever device you're going to put your LEDs onto. It says, remove the inner frame and measure the LED strip so there is enough to go around the entire length of the inner frame inside. So I guess that's important to talk about. This is when you are using these LED strips, you've got to be able to do your measurements right, and you've got to make sure that it goes all the way around, as they say, or this will not work. And if you have some lopsided or oddly looking LEDs, the final result will probably not look too good, because there's a certain amount of symmetry that is required, in order for this project to work. So cut the LED strip. Make sure you only cut the strip on the marked cut lines. If you cut it somewhere else, you may damage, I guess, the LED circuit, and then the whole project will not work. So feed the end of the LED strip through the drilled hole in the inner frame. And then part 9 is stick the adhesive side of the LED strip inside the inner frame, removing backing as you go. If your LED strip doesn't have adhesive backing, use hot glue or double-sided tape. Press the LED strip firmly into the corners. And it also says the lighted part of the strip should be up against the hole. So I'm going to show you all the pictures just in case that was really confusing. We can do part 4, part 5. I can't see, so I can't show you very well. Part 6, part 7, part 8, and last but not least, part 9, right there. And now we're going to go to the next page where we're going to do part 10. So lay the window into the outer frame with the mirror film facing toward you. Feed the cord from the LED strip through the drilled hole in the outer frame and lay the inner frame on top of the window. Place the mirror into the frame so that the reflective surface faces away from you. Then place the backing board into the frame and secure it in place with the tabs. Plug the LED strip and turn on the switch. It says to use the metal tabs to make sure the backing board is secured, or else the mirror may fall out. And we don't want that because, as explained before, mirrors, not only do they bring bad luck, like 9 years, some say, if you break one, but they shatter into lots of different pieces, which is difficult to remove off the ground. And so if you end up stepping on that later on with bare feet, that is not a fun experience. So don't do that. Insert the LED cord into the plug it comes with. So that's another thing you need to do. And that is pretty much the whole thing done. I'm going to show you what it looks like over here. Part 10 and part 11. And it says how it works. Your infinity mirror works by bouncing the light from the LEDs off the mirror and the mirror film again and again, which gives the impression of an infinite depth to mirror. The light waves from each LED on the strip travel out in all directions. When the light waves hit the mirror, they are reflected forward. When this reflected light hits the mirror film at the front of the frame, half the light reflects back in and half the light passes through, allowing it to be seen. The reflective light reflects off the back mirror and the mirror film again and again, forming multiple images of the LED, each one appearing smaller and farther back than the last one, giving the illusion of depth. This is all very cool. So it will then explain to you what mirror is, where the light sources is, where the light sources are, I think there's only one in this case, but with every reflection in the mirror, the LED appears dimmer as light is lost through the mirror film. This probably gives you some of that illusion. The mirror film allows you to look into the infinity mirror and see yourself reflected in the mirror at the back of the picture frame too. So anyway, real world inventions. One-way mirrors. Some police interview rooms have a half-mirrored window like the window at the front of your infinity mirror. To people inside the interview room, it looks like a mirror, but people watching in the next room can see through it like a window. All right, so as I said before, this is how it works. Your infinity mirror works by bouncing the light from the LEDs off the mirror and the mirror film again and again, which gives the impression of an infinite depth to the mirror. I'm reading that part again just in case you guys missed that bit there. And here you go in the book. That's what it's all about, guys. And that was the end of this cool exercise. So we will make something cool tomorrow if I can get out here, and hopefully the sun will be out here, which will help a lot because it really drains me. It really drains me when the sun is not out there. I'm a strange lizard human. Well, some would say galactic origin, but truly, when the sun is not out, it really messes with me. I'm more plant than human, if you will, when it comes to that, and I need the energy of the sun to warm me up and give me that pep, that umph in the voice too. You'll notice I'm just not as high energy as the other days. It just does that to me. Drains my power. Oh, okay. So we're gonna jump into, yes, you've guessed it, the secret origin of Wing Chun. And again, before I get into that, guys, if you are watching my live streams and enjoy the live streams, you should get yourself this book, because this book is easier to read than my live streams. So if you watch the live streams together with this book, it'll confuse you and you won't be able to do your projects. Anyway, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. It might help you to have the book if you watch the live streams, because it will help you with your documentation as well. And also it has the list of all the things that you need to buy in order to be able to do the things that I talk about here. But just in case you were wondering, you wanted to take a quick look at stuff as a bunch of amazing pretty ladies just walk by here, all nonchalant. They didn't notice I'm here. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. Because otherwise they would have been scared. I get that in comments all the time. You scare people. Anyway, this here is the DJI FPV. So cool. As known as the potato jet, and it is so cool and it is so fun. And I thought I'd show you guys because it's got DJI here. Like, see, just in case you thought I was lying, it is real. It is real. It says DJI here, and also to see DJI here on the battery. Look at that, DJI there on the battery, and DJI here on the battery. Like, they have the logo like everywhere. And it says FPV over there, just in case you thought I was lying about that. It says FPV. Fantastic. It's got sensors and stuff. And against all popular opinion, it is a really cool drone. It really is. It really is. You know, I've heard a lot of stuff about this drone, saying that it is horrible. But so far, fingers crossed, touching wood, touching all metal and stuff, whatever the superstitious thing is, so far it has had an amazing performance. And the best thing about this thing is it comes with really cool goggles and the remote. I love the goggles and the remote. So there's that. And, you know, there's a lot of people who are not thinking straight right now, because right now really it is, if you have the budget for it, the best way to get into the FPV hobby as of now, is, if you don't have any FPV experience, is to go through the DJI thing, unfortunately, because there isn't going to be another FPV system that has the basically all the stuff that you see under here, which allows you to do relatively easy takeoffs and landings without crashing and stuff. So either this or the Avata right now are the two easiest way to get into FPV. And then as you get better with that stuff, you can turn some of those features off and learn how to do proper stuff. I really wish and I really hope that DJI will come out with the Avata 2 next generation, which hopefully is going to be a lighter quad. This one here is one of the more heavier ones that you're going to find. But you want to have, if you really want to make it beginner friendly, you want to have something that's very light, under 250 grams. So that's what's going to be happening, I think, because they're trending, right? They've been going with each iteration of their FPV drone. They've gone down to, I think it's almost 400 grams. Like it's almost like 800, 400, and hopefully the next one. You probably don't want to have a 200 gram FPV because you can't do all the stuff that they need to put in there. Unfortunately, the technology, this is the same issue that we're running into with the iPhone. The iPhone, so Mr. Tim Cook and whoever's at the helm of DJI are struggling with the same issues. The microization. Oh, that's again, it's not only just about the ladies, because somebody commented the other day, you only talk about the pretty ladies. No, I don't. I talk about the beautiful animals, but also the very nice couples, and it's like an awe moment right now. That's really cute. Anyway, so we're talking about the cool thing here. The iPhone and the DJI are struggling with the same issues right now. The technology that we have right now for camera sensors and flight controllers and all that stuff, and especially for the cameras and the air unit stuff, it hasn't reached the power where you can have the same level of performance that you get on something like this big, or on something like the Avata, and put it on something that's under 250 grams. So that is where I think the struggle is right now with DJI. So they're waiting for the technology to catch up, so that when they release the DJI Avata Generation 2, the Generation 2, they'll probably be able to keep roughly the same amount of power in the camera, and not make it a letdown for all the people, because there's going to be customers that they're going to go wild. Why is the camera not as amazing as the one that we had previously? And I already don't know how they did that, because this one is a much larger bird. This is a much larger bird, but they were able to squeeze a camera in the Avata, which I'm not sure if it's software driven or whatever, but they said it performs even better on that, and they added features like gyro flow, which that one didn't have. So I'm guessing in the next iteration of the Avata, if they're smart, because otherwise, these companies with the FAA regulations and all the crazy stuff that's going on, they're going to have to spend more money, and it's going to be harder for them to bring more and more people into the hobby, because they have to have all this weird stuff like remote ID integrated, and I'm sure that doesn't cause any issues with extra weight and stuff on the vehicles and blah blah blah. So anyway, because of the way that things are going, and the same thing is going on with the iPhone mini has been removed from the line again, and oftentimes I guess that will happen. If you remember, the iPhone mini used to be really small. The current iPhone mini 13 and 12 are more like the size of the iPhone 6, which was slightly larger than this. And I've got that. Sometimes you'll see it in my videos. I don't have it right now to show you the reference. But the reason why they haven't created an iPhone mini 14 is because they can't put the latest and greatest camera on it. So they were like, well, what's the point of making an iPhone 14 when the iPhone 13 is going to have the same technology? What can we put in the newer iPhone 14 mini that the iPhone 13 mini doesn't already have? And so they were like, well, we're just not going to do that. We're just going to leave it at 13, which should have been called 14B, or 13. It should have been called 12B, sorry. It should have called it 12B, because 13, it's just going to put off some people from buying it. But anyway, so we're going to have to wait for the iPhone 15 or maybe 16 for the camera digital technology to get so good that you'll be able to put one of those cool camera with the three, like, it has like 1, 2, 3 back here, all those cool sensor things, and be able to put it on a mini. Because right now I don't think you can miniaturize it enough to have all of that technology in the smaller casing. So that's probably why that's going on there. So anyway, lots of cool things will happen as miniaturization improves, and we get more quality in smaller packages. But for now, I think this is where they've hit the wall, right? Both iPhone and DJI have hit the wall right now. And so they can't release the DJI Avata under 250 grams because of that. I always get confused. 256 is also a way to measure RAM and stuff. So and other bit units. So I like 256. 250 grams. 250 grams is what you want to be under. Anyway, let's get to secret origin of Wing Chun, because this is why you guys came here to watch, isn't it? Of course it is. It's awesome. So, as I said before, we ended the page last time with a sketch from a video of the author doing push-ups with one thumb, which is amazing, guys. Something that you'll probably only see in Shaolin temples or videos done by Shaolin monks, which they do some crazy things. I've seen people, do like a handstand on their index fingers, but 2 of them, not 1, and do push-ups like that. It's like dude, what? Anyway, so the crazy stuff that they do when you push your body to the real limits of its, you know, like most people, if you put all your force on one finger, you're gonna snap it. So you'll either snap it, or if you're very flexible, it'll just bend. You won't be able to hold your weight on a thumb or whatever. So anyway, sketch from, as I said before, I'll show you this sketch here. And before as I continue on with this cool thing, I want you guys to know that Grandmaster Tom Wong does have a YouTube channel, and that it just gets no views. It really does. And it's unfortunate because he's actually showing you guys some real Kung Fu, but nobody understands it. So, so if you guys have not been to Grandmaster Tom Wong's classes in Monterey Park, you guys should look it up. I don't know, I think they may even have him on Yelp. I did a review on Yelp because Yelp hasn't banned me yet from making reviews over there, which is nice. Amazon has, which is why I couldn't make I did show you guys a video. It's on the channel, so you guys, if you guys want to buy this book, there's also a couple of places where there's a link in the description, or at least in the comment section, where you guys can go directly to the store for this book, and you guys can go buy it. Anyway, excuse me. Shaolin Wing Chun Bill G's form. The Shaolin Wing Chun Bill G form also includes 108 movements. This form focuses on application of finger thrust. Differences between dummy training. Okay, so we're going to talk about that today. Differences between dummy training. Ome Wing Chun's wooden dummy, bamboo dummy training. Training with equipment can actually have a detrimental effect on fighters' performance if the fighter is not using the equipment properly. This is because using incorrect movement, timing, power, and speed while training with equipment creates bad patterns, rhythm, and habits that will likewise appear when sparring with a live opponent. One of the things that I always talk about is, and that I learned from experience the hard way, is that, you know, you can do all the tree training that you want. You can smash your hands against cement and all of that good stuff and punching bags, but unless you train with another person, so you can't like learn all of your Kung Fu over Zoom, because, you know, if you've never sparred with a real person in real life, and then you do that, and then you go to an MMA tournament, you end up having one of those DK Wu moments, or even worse than DK Wu. DK Wu did okay, considering the way that the other boxer just kept smacking him down. DK Wu did pretty well compared to a lot of the fake Kung Fu masters who've never been in a sparring match ever, and they've only trained the other stuff, and then they realize that they just don't have the cardio or whatever it is, the dexterity, the ability to dodge. There's so many things that you need to be, basically skills that you need to hone in order to be able to do a proper sparring match. And so one of the biggest issues when you do train with a punching bag or a wooden dummy is your legs don't move. Your legs don't move most of the time. You get lazy, and you should incorporate movement into your boxing training and move around the bag or whatever, and move around your wooden dummy. But most people don't. So they're just square with the wooden dummy. They may sometimes twist their torso or whatever to do like side maneuvers and stuff. But usually their feet are planted down like a tree. And then when they find themselves in a real street fight or a tournament or whatever, or even a basic sparring match, they realize that they're not moving. Their opponent is doing all the moving. And you know how they teach you guys to bounce in Taekwondo, which is a terrible technique. Don't do that. That only works for the tournaments, for the because everybody's bouncing, so everybody's bouncing. But in a real fight, if you're bouncing around like that, good chances are that you are in a rhythm. And when you are in a rhythm, it is very, very easy for your opponent to time you and see when you're off the ground. And when you're off the ground is when they're going to hit you, because when you're off the ground, you cannot actually move out of the way. And so try to learn. I learned this the hard way. As I was one of those people who learned to bounce. And when you do that in a real fight, your opponent, if they're experienced, they will time your bounce, and they're like, okay, this is when I'm going to smack him. The second that you are off the ground for that much is a time you cannot move out of your opponent's movements when they strike. And also the best time when you are off balance, because you don't have any sort of grounding at all, right? Your feet are pretty much off the ground when you're bouncing. And you get struck and you fall for sure, or you go flying somewhere. So, things to ponder, as they say. So the way one trains is the way one fights. And that's something that I talked about in the previous live stream. So we won't go over that again. You guys can go look at that. So it says, on the other hand, different people may obtain different results even when using the same equipment. For example, two people may use the same dumbbell or elastic band, but lift or train with the dumbbell and elastic band in different ways. Some will get injured and some won't when they do the proper technique. In turn, the philosophy that a trainer believes in is very important because it has huge implications on the training methods and the training results. So the Ome Yenkai-san or Sumnung Wing Chun dummy is built differently from Shaolin Wing Chun dummy because it is meant to be used while standing or moving in a lower stance. Excuse me more. Wow. Okay, now that I got that out of the system, better out than in. To be used while standing or moving in a lower stance. So again, the dummy here that they use here in Yenkai-san Wing Chun and Sumnung Wing Chun, and that they ask you to use if you have the funds to get yourself one, is differently set up than the one that the traditional that you'll see, like what's the guy, Yip Man or whatever. You see those videos in the movies and stuff. That Yip Man style thing is different, and you notice that most of the time when Yip Man in the movies does his wooden dummy training, he's standing all the way up, right, as if he was just walking around, and most of the time his feet don't really move that much. They might like sway from side to side, as I said before. You do the quarter angles and stuff, but you're not really doing stuff like you would if you are doing boxing. And boxing, even if you're a martial artist, you should train boxing stances, because when you get into a real fight in the real street situation, your stance is probably going to have to be a boxing stance if you don't want to get hit over and over by a boxer. As the students train with the dummy, they become accustomed to being in a tackling position and maintaining a coiled body pressure. You do need to have a certain amount of bend in your knees, and you do need to be slightly lower down in order to do this Yenkai-san or Sumnung Kung Fu, compared to what we usually do in other forms. So it says, see Sumnung Wing Chun or dummy demonstration. And you'll notice that some of the real, again, I'm not bashing karate and not bashing taekwondo or not bashing the other forms, but you'll notice that the real experts in those disciplines tend to have a certain amount of bend in their knees when they fight, even in their forms. But when you go to check out a bunch of the other gyms, and again, if it's just a kiddie class, you expect it from the little ones, and it's fun to look at and stuff, and it's cute. It's just adorable. Nothing could be more adorable than watching a bunch of kids doing martial arts. It's just a great thing. But when you're seeing like some of the coaches and stuff in those gyms, and their stances are like really, really high up and stuff, you know that they're either just hanging out because it's okay. Like if you're just teaching a bunch of kids, it's okay to do that. But if you're in a more professional setting, or you go, like sometimes they'll do that thing where they'll go to different. They still do that sometimes. Sometimes instructors will train, and they'll bring their students to different kung fu gyms and stuff to train with other disciplines and stuff like that. At least The good ones will do that to make sure that kids know that there's different styles and stuff. But when they do that, and you see kids, or even at tournaments, kids with the posture where their knees are not bent down low enough, you know that they're going to get pummeled in general. They get pummeled in the fights. So anyway, the Sumnung Wing Chun dummy training includes over 145 movements from Yenkai-san and Chengbo. There are 3 stages of training. One is live dummy, dead dummy, and empty dummy. So there's a bunch of things here in Chinese. So as I always say, tell you guys, if you guys know how to say all this cool stuff here, again, it's a good and learning experience for myself too, because I can't read any of this stuff. And so if you guys are good and you guys want to help out, make your own video on whatever platform you want, and you can drop the link of your video and how you say those awesome things in Chinese below, and that will help me, but also anybody who comes over to this channel to check out this stuff. Again, as I always say, I've been doing this a long time, 16 years, but I can't get a single person to take part in this kind of stuff, and I don't know if it's because truly, and I think it probably is, that the channel has been so shadow banned that people can't even drop their comments on there. But if you want to participate, please do, and that'll be cool. Showing you guys what the wooden dummy looks like in these pictures right here. There's one and the other. And so it says, in this pic, Sumnung practicing with the wooden dummy, and underneath there is bamboo dummy, but there's nobody on there, so I guess these are just 2 different things. But this is basically the kind of wooden dummy that my good friend Charles the Great shows up on this channel. So if you guys haven't seen Charles the Great, sometimes we'll get together and break coconuts and stuff. But if you'll look around, you'll find Charles the Great. And what he has at home is one of these wooden dummies right here for Yenkai-san or Sumnung Wing Chun. And the difference is, as you can see there from that image, is that it's lower to the ground, and you do need to have some bend. You need to have some bend in your legs in order to do this form of Wing Chun for sticky hands and stuff. So it's just easier to show you, right? A picture tells 1,000 words. I thought I'd show you the picture so you guys could see. If you see a wooden dummy that looks like that, you're like, oh, that's a strange wooden dummy. That's actually a much better tool to use if you want to learn proper Wing Chun. Ome Wing Chun practitioners traditionally used bamboo dummies. The bamboo dummy starts from 2 arms and goes up to 24 arms. Due to flexibility and springiness of the bamboo material, the bamboo dummy creates a feeling of liveliness and feels like it responds to energy. In contrast, the idea of a wooden dummy training comes from Shaolin Wing Chun. It is said that Shaolin Master Ji Shim, again, guys, if you guys want to help out and let me know how you say Ji Shim, please do that. It'll be helpful for everybody. Thought it was convenient to practice on a sailboat's wood mast when he did not have a partner. Later on, some Ome Wing Chun masters also used the wooden dummy when they could not build a bamboo dummy on the boats where they worked and lived. However, a wooden dummy resembles a more static partner than a bamboo dummy. Nevertheless, in the Ome Wing Chun style, neither wooden nor bamboo dummies were ever intended to be used for arm conditioning. One should not be banging one's arm against the dummy arms directly. This violates the principle of Ome Wing Chun's philosophy. Instead, one's arms constantly press against the dummy. This is also why one cannot apply any paint onto the dummy's arms. Otherwise, it causes skin burns and irritation. So one thing to understand here is that the practices here in the Ome Wing Chun, Yenkai-san, and Sumnung and Grandmaster Tom Wong's Wing Chun is, the point is of doing the dummy training isn't to do the kind of training that you usually do, like the iron palm or whatever. The point of that dummy is not so that you can bang the arms all the time. And also there's a certain amount of slack in the wood itself. So you'll notice that if you press against certain parts of the wooden arms on the dummy, they don't stay fixed in place. They do kind of wobble a little bit. And the reason for that is that when you're applying pressure to the wooden dummy, the idea is that you're trying to use different parts of the surface of your palm, the back of your hand and stuff, and fingers in order to grab and circle around these arms so that you can stick to the thing. And the idea here is you are manipulating the arm as if you were doing that with someone's real arm in real life. And again, you're not going for the hands. There are no hands on this thing, just like most wooden dummies. But these are going to be thicker arms than they are on your standard wooden dummy. So, and also they're more rounded so that you have, it's basically like a large person's wrist and forearm that you're working with. So anyway, that is what you have here. And again, this is not about smashing or hitting the wooden dummy. It is not about hitting the middle part of the thing. Of course, you can use that as a reference point to give yourself an idea of where your opponent is. And yes, the middle part of the wooden dummy is strong enough that you can hit it as hard as you can and it won't break. But that is not really the purpose of the training here. The purpose of the training is to create that bend that you see in the posture. And this will strengthen your legs. All of your body will be strengthened because you're going to be standing in this position here on purpose. One thing that you could do, I mean, it depends on your height and the height of this thing, is if you have a way of doing this, this is probably a good practice anyway, is create a kind of like a shed thing on top of your wooden dummy. It's probably quite easy, and you could do a makeshift or an ad hoc thing around your house or whatever. Just have a table, a very light table on top, or even a piece of cardboard on top. It's so that it forces you to stay low when you train, because most of the time, even with this kind of wooden dummy, if you don't do that, you will be standing up like you're just walking, and that defeats the purpose of the training, because the whole point of the training is to get strong legs. Now, if you have knee problems, that's a different story. I have knee problems and stuff, so I can't always go down as low as some of the people who can. But if you don't have knee problems, you're just cheating yourself out of training, really, is what you're doing. Because the whole purpose of that is to strengthen your legs. Just like when you're doing Master Tom Wong, Grandmaster Tom Wong stresses the importance of doing duck walks and, like duck walks and bear crawl activity. Like a lot of the stuff that you do in breakdancing. In breakdancing will be very useful to you if you do breakdancing and you do this kind of kung fu. Those are all things that work well together in strengthening the certain body structures and muscles and tendons and stuff like that you will really need to master this kung fu here. So it's one thing. Sometimes a lot of the top kung fu masters and martial artists in general tend to be pretty good dancers. You'll notice that. Anyway, I have seen many cases of second and third generation students proudly breaking the wooden arms from the dummy in an attempt to show off their skills. So yeah, this is one of the things. This is not a show off. This is not a show off thing that you want to do. You're trying to learn how to manipulate and stick to your opponent the best way that you can. And if you're just breaking off the bits and pieces, that doesn't really help. Anyway, my good friend Charles the Great, that you guys will see on the you will see on the channel, accidentally broke the bottom leg here with one of his shin kicks. And man, these wooden dummies are pretty expensive, so he had to replace one of those. So don't do that. Don't do that. keep your equipment. It is probably more expensive than your typical wooden dummy anyway. So if you can afford one of those things, don't go breaking that, and use it appropriately. So when they finally had the opportunity to meet Grandmaster Sumnung, lost a bit. Oh yeah, so I have seen many cases of second and third generation students proudly breaking the wooden arms from the dummy in an attempt to show off their skills when they finally had the opportunity to meet Grandmaster Sumnung. They hoped to impress Sumnung with his powerful feats and earn praise from him. They instead received sharp criticism and scolding. The result was very awkward. So this often occurred because the second or third generation teachers did not fully understand the philosophy of Ome Wing Chun before trying to teach the next generation. So although it is important to do your iron palm training and training all the parts of your body, if you plan to use this as a real weapon, in real life, if you plan to use that, or you're not just doing it for the, a lot of people do cardio boxing, right? Cardio boxing. They do Tai Chi at the lake and all that cool stuff. And that is great for your health. But if you plan on doing, even this kind of Kung Fu Ome Wing Chun, you still need to do the iron palm, the fist palm, and all those iron fists and the things that you do in order to make all these techniques work for you if you're actually in a real fight. Just saying. But having said all that, then you don't want to go to your teacher and say, hey, look, I'm so cool, and look, I've done all this other training, because it's not the kind of training that they're asking you to do with this tool. So for each tool, you got to use it the proper way, right? It's like this fan. This is a great tool to, if I feel hot, I don't feel hot today, but anyway, if I want to get cooler on a hot day, I can use this fan. But if I wanted to use this fan for fighting, it is a very, very brittle fan. And so it is very likely to break if I was to use this in combat. So don't use it for combat if it's not designed for combat. These teachers had only acquired bits and pieces of Ome Wing Chun and did not understand nor learn the whole picture. As a result, when they tried to teach their students, they mixed concepts and techniques from other styles to try to fill in the gaps and recreate a complete picture. Unfortunately, what these students learned was actually contrary to the principles of Ome Wing Chun. This is one of the reasons why Sumnung never allowed his incomplete students to teach. In contrast, our ancestors who learned both systems understood both systems fully. They usually then only taught one system or the other to their students. For example, Feng Xiuqing taught large groups of people Shaolin Kung Fu, but taught Ome Wing Chun to only a few select students. And again, if you guys want to help me out with how to say stuff, please do. And please do purchase this awesome book, if you will. It's got some good things, and it's worth reading multiple times to make sure that you understand what's going on. So the Ome Wing Chun dummy has lower arms and is designed for squatting practice. In this other pic, the Shaolin Wing Chun dummy has higher arms and is designed for an upright stance. So there you go. In this picture, you can see the clear differences between the two. You see, this is the Yip Man style Kung Fu thing that you will see Yip Man in all the movies and stuff. Even that cool one with Mike Tyson in it and stuff. You see him playing around with his Wing Chun dummy. This is a different style of Wing Chun. This is the style of Wing Chun from Yenkai-san, Sumnung, and Grandmaster Tom Wong. This is the kind that you would be practicing if you go to Monterey Park and you meet up with his awesome students and stuff. So anyway, we're going to leave it there for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this little live stream that I've been doing for a while. And if you do enjoy it, please come along. Everybody's is invited to partake in this stuff. You can drop comments and whatever. And I will read the comments. I will. I promise you I will, if they show up. I think that's all, folks. That's all, folks. I'm going to leave you guys with some of the cool things that have been going on the channel. And as you guys know, this came in, which is super cool. I plan on doing an unboxing of something cool coming in today later on, maybe if there's time. I don't know if there's time because I've been out here for quite some time today. And so we'll see if that ever happens, if there's time to do that. But if not, and with that, I will say goodbye to you guys. But most importantly, I will say thank you once more to, Master Tom Wong for providing this for me to read, and Sender City here for helping me out to acquire my certification. Again, they really went above and beyond to help me out with my disability of learning, because again, for me, it's really, really hard to learn anything. Once I finally understood all those things, it was really a pleasure to get down there and belay my daughter up and down all the cool mountain ranges that are in there. It's really cool. So anyway, with that, I'm gonna say goodbye, and I probably can't say goodbye because somebody spammed, called me. The things you learn as a technologist. So the iPhone has one big problem here, and the problem is if somebody tries to call you, even if it's a spam call, it'll stay up. And then I have to drop out of the live for a second. We're back. So I had to drop out of the live just to close out that annoying thing, because unfortunately, once you are in the live, YouTube does not have a way to get around to the X. And so this is one of the big issues with technology, modern technology. Sometimes the technology doesn't work together with the other technology that you have. And so for me to be able to end the live and reach the X, I have to get out of the live, out of the app, get rid of that thing that shows up on the top there with missed call from an odd number, obviously trying to spam. And then I can end the live as I wanted to. And so with that, and in the pesky, conniving, son of a gunny market review style, we will end the live here. And I will see you all in the next one. Take care, guys.